Introduce Christine Cassidy from Fallon Health, the chair of the Worcester Regional Chamber of Commerce. Thank you.
Do you have that? Can I borrow that? Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Alex. Good morning, everybody. On behalf of the Worcester Regional Chamber of Commerce, thanks for coming out today. As Alex said, I'm chair of the board. I'm also a Chief Communications Officer for Fallon Health here in the city. So particularly proud to be here and just take a couple of moments to say hi. I want to officially welcome everyone. I know we're going to hear from several elected officials, but I do want to acknowledge, I know we have State Rep Dan Donahue. I think I saw Rep Hannah Kane over there. I apologize if I've missed anybody else, but thank you so much for being here. From both a chamber and a Fallon Health perspective, I'd just like to thank and congratulate all those involved for their leadership, their hard work, and their unwavering support on behalf of this important initiative. At Fallon, we appreciate the mission of the Worcester Regional Food Hub, and we wish them continued success in the years to come. Speaking of leadership, hard work, and unwavering support, I'm going to get right to my first job, which is introducing Senator Ed Markey.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for everyone gathering here today. We're here today at Worcester's Central Kitchen. It is the food hub. It's going to be absolutely a fabulous project that will work for everyone in the community, beginning with the poorest in the community, and that's exactly what this is intended to accomplish. And it's great to be here. My special thanks to my partner in Congress, Jim McGovern, for all of his work, which he does on hunger issues, on food issues, every single day of the year. To Lieutenant Governor Karen Polito, thank you, and thank you for what the state is doing. Secretary Katie Theo Haridis, thank you so much for all of your work. Tim Murray, former Lieutenant Governor, Sean Rainford from the Worcester Regional Food Hub, and all of the great leaders who are here, especially Mayor Joe Petty, who brings all of the city's commitment to this project. So we thank you, Joe. So it's always a pleasure to be in Worcester, and today I'm proud with Jim McGovern to bring the big news, and that is that we're making major progress on the community investments that we need here in Massachusetts. And I am personally thrilled to celebrate the $3 million in federal funding that Congressman McGovern and the House of Representatives and Senator Warren and I worked on to include in the legislation that just passed the United States Congress and was put on Joe Biden's desk for his signature. So this is a major investment, not only for Union Station, but for all of Worcester. It's part of nearly $140 million in direct federal spending that the Massachusetts congressional delegation has brought home for Massachusetts this year. This federal funding for Massachusetts means we can initiate, strengthen, and expand community-based projects that serve our families, businesses, and living places every day. Those projects are going to include spurring our economy, strengthening our resiliency, expanding access to health care, safeguarding our climate, and help feeding and housing our most vulnerable in every single region of the Commonwealth. So this is a perfect example of what the funding does. $3 million in direct federal funding for the Worcester Regional Food Hub will go towards investment in infrastructure improvements at Union Station. The lower level space will become the Food Hub's new home. This new development will boast 6 new kitchens that will open 24/7, and they will also be available for entrepreneurs to use as incubator spaces. And that new location will also include a warehouse facility to store food and products, and a retail storefront that will provide SNAP-accessible local food. So it's one-stop shopping for food for everyone right here at Union Station. And what I'm most excited about is that this development will be happening at Union Station. Worcester is the heart of the Commonwealth, and Union Station is the heart of Worcester. And I'm always amazed by the beautiful architecture and history of this train station when, not if, East-West Rail becomes a reality. Union Station will be vital to the economic prosperity for Worcester, central Massachusetts, and the rest of the Commonwealth. Congressman McGovern and I worked hard to include $9 billion for transportation in the infrastructure bill last year, and we expect East-West Rail to be a part of that new planning for this region. And furthermore, the Worcester Regional Food Hub commands an integral piece in the regional food system in central Massachusetts. They are committed to strengthening sustainable agriculture and empowering food entrepreneurs to unlock their potential. The Food Hub has reimagined the production to distribution chain for local farms by connecting regional producers to offer fresh, healthy food directly to communities that need it the most. Take, for example, the height of COVID-19 pandemic. When folks worried about entering stores and social distancing, Sean Rainford led the Food Hub to take the initiative to offer local food pickup services for residents. This food-to-go model exemplifies the importance of local community partnerships. Thank you, Sean, for your leadership on that issue at the height of the pandemic. The Worcester Regional Food Hub is also playing a key role in addressing food insecurity. The Food Hub provides access to fresh, healthy foods through SNAP-accessible farmers markets in low-income neighborhoods. Having access to nutritious food is crucial for the development, health, and well-being of our communities. But as families continue to rebound from the darkest days of the COVID-19 crisis, too many are still facing hunger and malnutrition. The rate of food insecurity here in the Commonwealth and across the globe is simply unacceptable. More than 12% of Massachusetts households are food insecure. That's a more than 50% increase since the start of the pandemic. And Black and brown Massachusetts residents are disproportionately bearing this burden, and 1 in 6 Black and Latino households are experiencing food insecurity as we gather here today. We can do better. We must do better. We must continue to work to ensure that with the work that Sean and his team are doing here at the Worcester Regional Food Hub continues to be expanded. So it's my great honor to introduce our next speaker. And it's just simply by saying that the most important person in the United States Congress on food insecurity, on making sure that those who are most in need get what they have to have in order to survive and provide for those families, is with us here today. The single most important member of Congress, the great Jim McGovern.
So let me thank Senator Markey, for all his really nice words, but also for all that he did to help make sure that this made it through the Senate. I mean, this is a big deal, and it's a pleasure to join with all of the leaders who are here today to announce this new funding for our city. And I want to thank Joe Petty, and I want to thank Tim Murray and Sean Rainford for their tireless leadership throughout the pandemic and for their incredible efforts to further bolster our local food system through the Worcester Regional Food Hub. I want to thank our great partners in the state, our amazing Lieutenant Governor, who is always there for us when we need help from the state. It's great to be here with Commissioner LeBeau and Representative Hannah Kane and Representative Dan Donahue. We are grateful for your leadership. And, you know, a couple of months ago, we stood here and we announced that the city was going to take $1 million of their American Rescue Act funds and dedicate it to this project. And that was a big deal. But it's even a bigger deal today because Senator Markey and I can say that we helped earmark $3 million for this project. So that brings you to $4 million. And the Lieutenant Governor has an announcement to make as well. I'll let her make that. And then we want to thank all of those who invested in this project at the very beginning, because we wouldn't be here today without their believing in this project. But when all is said and done, all the funding is here. This is a reality. This is going to happen. Before I dive into how wonderful the Food Hub is, I just want to take a quick moment here to say that, you know, for a long period of time, Congress stopped these congressionally directed spending items. And I always thought that was unfortunate because bureaucrats in Washington don't always understand what's possible or what is important in local communities. And so trying to get funding for something like this would have been very, very, very difficult. I should point out, so people have it put in perspective, that congressionally directed funding that I helped secure when I first came to Congress helped renovate and save Union Station. It helped with Reimagine City Square, and it helped create the Gateway Park Innovation Center, and many other important initiatives in this city that, quite frankly, are driving this economy forward. And so the fact that we can be here to announce this, I think, is a special pleasure. And I have, you know, I want to say that I want to thank Sean Rainford, who's incredible, and for his vision and his tenacity. You know, the Food Hub helps form relationships between the farmers who produce our food and the places where our food is purchased and consumed. Our public schools, our local universities, our healthcare facilities, our restaurants and stores. It trains local food entrepreneurs and provides them with kitchen space to start up or grow their own businesses. And before you leave, and you'll hear about these products, you ought to see what they've already done. But I think these business leaders will tell you that this would have been impossible without the infrastructure, because to get the infrastructure to do this is incredibly expensive. Now that infrastructure here will exist. So this is a win, 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 win. And by the way, I visited some of the farms who partner with the Food Hub. I'm also on the Agriculture Committee. Their produce is incredible. And I don't know about you, but I'd rather eat a nutritious salad made with greens grown in Worcester County than lettuce that has traveled across the country before reaching my table. And that is exactly what the Food Hub is about. You know, the COVID-19 pandemic has laid bare just how fragile our supply chain is, disrupting in ways that we could not have imagined just a few years ago. You know, from food that's gone to waste to difficulty getting products to the store, we've all seen all of this firsthand. And the Biden administration has taken numerous steps to get supply chains back to normal, including measures that invest in local food supply chains. And this announcement today bolsters those efforts. So I know that this influx of federal dollars will go a long way towards strengthening our local food systems, supporting small businesses in central Massachusetts, empowering New England family farms, and getting nutritious local food to people all across our community. And I just will say that in addition to admiring the incredible products that are already being produced by the Food Hub, get to know the stories behind them. We are a diverse city. We are a city with a vibrant immigrant community. And people who have great ideas can now take advantage of these ladders of opportunity and create successful businesses. It is amazing. This is all wonderful. And so I am proud to be standing here today, and I'm grateful to be part of a community that cares enough about the common good to build something beautiful like this food hub, to also make Union Station a destination place, not only to travel, but to be able to purchase some of the best, most high-quality food that is available on this planet, right here. As I said before, you know, it really does take a village to make all of this happen. There's so many people behind me who have all, and in front of me, who have been part of this. But we are very, very lucky that we have great partners in the state. And the Lieutenant Governor has been here every step of the way. And on this and so many other projects, when we have a challenge or there's a problem or we need someone to give a little extra push to something on the state level, she picks up the phone and she makes it happen. And so we are grateful for her leadership. We are grateful for all of her contributions to this project. And I'm now very proud to turn this program over to our incredible Lieutenant Governor, Karen Polito.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's a beautiful morning. Welcome to Worcester, the heart of the Commonwealth, the second largest city in New England. You can see those of us who are from Worcester are very proud of the story that we're telling of the Worcester of today and all the exciting things that are happening around us in this neighborhood and across the city and across the region. So part of your assignment today is, as you leave here, if you're from another part of the Commonwealth, to go and visit the Canal District or go visit downtown Main Street and see all the exciting and new things that are happening. Let me just thank all of our partners who are here today. Certainly want to thank Senator Markey for your leadership. I want to give a warm, huge thank you to Congressman McGovern, who has been the champion to combat hunger in this country and around the world. And it's no surprise that he would put his shoulder behind this particular project, knowing the huge benefits that would come to address food insecurity, food access to healthy nutrition, and also the economics that come with a program like this. So thank you for your friendship, but thank you for never losing sight of your goals. I also want to thank my friends in the legislature, Dan Donahue, in particular Hannah Kane, who is the co-chair of the Food Security Task Force and has been long committed to seeing new ways of bringing innovation to the food delivery to meet hunger and the needs in our Commonwealth, and during the pandemic, helping us to pivot and make better choices to help people across the Commonwealth. I want to thank my partners in the city, including Tim Murray from the Mayor's office, to Tim Murray, and to meeting Sean. We've done a lot of good things on this project in particular. I'll introduce the Secretary and talk about the Commissioner in just a minute. But we're here in Union Station. You heard the Congressman talk about the collaboration and the investments that have been made to make this a centerpiece of our city. And you've also heard about it being a connection point for people to be able to access what's happening in this city, and for people here in this city to be able to access other places in Massachusetts, going east and going west. And in order to accomplish that, the upgrades to this track system are essential, including the center platform that is under construction and underway upstairs. That's a critical connection point, certainly for trains to continue traveling to the west, but also it will allow for trains to come in and for the commuter to, or the visitor to come off on either side of that track. Right now, the person has to come through the station and enter into the city. This will allow for people to enter into the city, right into the Canal District, and discover all parts of the neighborhood surrounding Union Station. So there's a lot of great things happening relative to infrastructure and collaboration and transportation in the city. Today, we are very pleased at the state level to announce our contributions to address food insecurity. Now, we knew that this was an issue before the pandemic hit, and there are not many silver linings from the pandemic, but I would count this among one of them. During the pandemic, we all know that people were harder hit no matter where they were, and food insecurity became even more pronounced and a problem that we needed to solve. And what we needed to do was to be in touch with the food suppliers of this Commonwealth, the farmers to the fishermen and all in between, and figure out how to source locally produced and made food and then transition it through food pantries and other partners to the people who need it the most. But we realized it wasn't as simple as just connecting one to the other. There was a whole system of infrastructure that needed to be developed, including making sure that the producer of the food had access to the right equipment, to the refrigeration, to the freezers, to wash stations, and also to the packaging and the distribution channel to actually move the food into a movable product. And you'll see some of that here, like these kits right here are an example of a pivot that a business made to take their food and put it into a kit that could then easily be transitioned to a food pantry or to a final destination, a school or a nonprofit in the community. And so we learned all of this in the pandemic because it forced us to accelerate and bring urgency to the moment. And as a result, we discovered a great food infrastructure system in Massachusetts and that we can build on coming out of the pandemic for many, many decades to come. And so today, we are thrilled to be able to announce $22.5 million to 147 organizations in this Commonwealth to help improve the food infrastructure system and the food network to help us address hunger, help us address access to food, healthy food, as Congressman McGovern talked about, and also help tap into the ingenuity, the innovations, the culture and diversity that are very much a big part of our story and our success story in the Commonwealth. And part of those funds today will include a $494,000 grant to the Worcester Food Hub. So that brings you close to $4.5 million, Sean. So no pressure, but you'll have plenty of resources to get the job done. And this food incubator, this place, will be the home of a lot more entrepreneurs, will be the home for many in this region to be able to take their food and move it into a system that will help a lot of people in this Commonwealth. And we couldn't be more proud to be a partner with you and to all of the others who are receiving these grants today, and many of you for the first time receiving a grant like this, which is a pretty powerful place to be, to take these resources and to help your business grow to another level and continue to do great work for the people of this Commonwealth. You're essential and great partners to all of us. I also want to thank Secretary Theo Haridis and Commissioner LeBeau in particular. Commissioner LeBeau and his team was tasked with trying to figure this out, the problem solve of how to put this together. This was no easy task, but they were certainly up for the task, and they did a phenomenal job that brings us to this point. And if you're talking about a legacy program, this is certainly one to be proud of, and certainly one that will last for a very long time going forward in this Commonwealth. With that, it is my honor to now introduce Secretary Theo Haridis.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. It is terrific to be in Worcester today for this announcement, and so much thanks is owed to all of our partners at the federal level, at the state level, and at the local level, and to all of our grant applicants for this terrific program, 147 grant awardees in this round, folks who have every day worked to ensure that they're producing food, that they're getting food out to our communities during what has been a really challenging time. The Lieutenant Governor mentioned this year we're spending $22.5 million In the first year of this program, we gave out $35 million, in part aided by federal recovery dollars that year, and we saw tremendous interest. And the Lieutenant Governor spoke of this in the earliest days of the pandemic. There was great concern from our farmers, from our fishermen, and from our communities about how we could distribute local food that was being grown and being produced, how it would get to market, how fishermen could get their fish to markets when institutions were shutting down, how farmers who usually delivered to campuses were going to do what they were going to do with their crops. And we also had an issue that Commissioner LeBeau and I remember well with nursery starts, so seed starts in nurseries, and whether or not there'd be any market for them, whether people would be allowed to go to nurseries and buy them. And what we saw instead was a tremendous reawakening of interest in local food, in growing your own food, in supporting community-supported agriculture, and in getting out even to fishing boats to buy off a boat. And what that required was infrastructure and investment in infrastructure so we could help our local producers sell food in their communities, provide food to food insecure residents in higher numbers, and support themselves in this manner as we went through the pandemic. And Representative Kane says this very well, and it's something I kept in mind working with her throughout this time. Many of our food producers themselves are food insecure. And so this pandemic was a challenge for all of them to make sure we could support our farmers and fishermen who are providing these resources to the Commonwealth. I can't say enough about the ingenuity we've seen about how different farmers and farm communities and fishermen have started supplying their communities in different ways, whether it's through all of the great infrastructure the Lieutenant Governor mentioned, or just making different crops or showing up in different ways to support their communities. Through this program, we are prioritizing projects that have long-term impacts on Massachusetts food systems and can be scaled and replicated. And I think that's something important. This crisis, very similar to climate change, gives us a chance to build back better, right? It gives us a chance to not just look at the short-term changes we need to make, but really look at long-term investments that will make this system more resilient going into the future. I'd also like to add that although we're here in the city of Worcester, grants through this program are going out to every corner of the state, obviously not just a regional issue, but all over the state and indeed all over our country. With the second round of funding, we look forward to seeing these projects and the programs come forward. I think we'll have more news on this program as well in our capital plan this year. But we really want to use these local resources to reduce hunger in Massachusetts and to ensure a vibrant food producer system all across the Commonwealth. I'd also like to give a special shout out to Rebecca Mulrain and Holly Valeka, who jumped into this program as our new director and administrator of the grant program. It is the largest program my secretariat has ever managed in terms of funding, and we did it sort of on a shoestring to begin with, and they have rolled up their sleeves and dove in, and I know many of our grant awardees really appreciate the hands-on approach they've taken. So with that, I would like to turn it over to our commissioner, a dear friend who in the beginning of the pandemic, his team really dove into this issue. And he thinks about everything on a daily basis, from our maple syrup producers to our cranberry growers, right on to issues with agriculture and animals and our state fairs. So, Commissioner LeBeau.
Well, thank you, Secretary. Good morning, everyone. It's truly a delight to participate in this event, not just on its face value, but to do it in the city in which I was born and in the region in which my family and I farmed and raised our families for many years. I think what we're hearing about today is a fabulous partnership, which often doesn't always happen, between federal government, state government, local government, non-government organizations like Sean and the Food Hub and Tim and the Chamber, all coming together to create what we've learned at the Department of Ag Resources, to start supporting, and through the Baker-Polito administration we've done much more of that, to go one level above supporting farms, to support those institutions and organizations that may serve many farms, that may allow many farms to add value to their products. For instance, a tomato costs X, you make tomato sauce, that farmer can realize more money. That's a very simple example of what the commercial kitchens here at the Food Hub are going to do. The FSIG grants, the Food Security Infrastructure grants, as previous speakers have mentioned, are transformational in the changes they've made to the way our farmers, our processors can do their business and feed Massachusetts. And that's what we're trying to do. We want to have more local food available for our consumers. So this is just a fabulous, this is a win today for the farmers of Massachusetts, but this is also a tremendous win for what we all are, eaters in Massachusetts. And I encourage you all to take advantage of wonderfully produced, locally grown Massachusetts food. And I remind you that Worcester County is a leader in agriculture in Massachusetts. We have this wonderful urban center, but you get out of the city and there are some fabulous farms through this county, and I hope you enjoy some of the agritourism or farm stands that are available. So great thanks to all the folks behind me who made these wonderful things happen today. And with that, I'm very pleased to introduce the Mayor of the City of Worcester, Joe Petty.
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner and Madam Secretary. And I just want to thank Ed Markey. He's been a great partner here in the City of Worcester and does wonderful things for us. And you got to love Jim McGovern, right, and his dedication to food insecurity, not just here in Worcester, but the United States and throughout the world. And Karen Polito's been a great partner here. Would it be, she was mentioning earlier about the platform and the train station. Every project in the City of Worcester, the Baker-Polito administration have their fingerprints on also. It goes to show you work cooperatively between government and the businesses. You can move the city forward. And food insecurity has been a great issue of mine, too, putting the task force together to address it. And you've seen the disparities during the COVID, and we try to address that here in the City of Worcester. Congratulations, Sean, for doing a great job. These people wouldn't be here unless they had confidence in you. So. You know, the Food Hub is a business incubator, moves ideas and recipes from the kitchen to reality here in the City of Worcester. I think there's over 100 businesses that have been formed from this, from Sean, so congratulations, good job. And you turn dreams into reality. For many in our immigrant community, there are barriers beyond money to start a business here in the City of Worcester, and this brings, Sean's able to provide serve safe training and other technical assistance here in the City of Worcester, and you see a lot of his success when you go into the marketplace here in the City of Worcester, or you go into other areas that came out of the Food Hub. And this is all I see Peter done here. We can talk about, from the Economic Development Office, we can talk about trying to activate this building, and this is a great this will activate this space here in Union Station, and it's been so stubborn to activate, and so great things will come out of that also. I want to thank Tim Murray and the Chamber. This wouldn't be done if it wasn't for the Chamber of Commerce, and if you really think about it, it goes back a number of years, for promoting and housing the Food Hub over the last couple of years. This program builds a critical mass of talented people who are looking to start businesses, grow businesses, and contribute to the vitality of our city. And again, I just want to thank the leadership from the federal, the state, and the City of Worcester, and the business community for making this happen. It just goes to show you again, when you work together, you can get things done. So thank you. And I just also want to introduce the President of the Chamber of Commerce, Tim Murray.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I'm privileged to be able to speak on behalf of the Worcester Regional Chamber, but also I want to acknowledge our partner organization throughout this who really funded the concept of the Food Hub over a multi-year period, and that is the Health Foundation of Central Massachusetts, and the new president and CEO, Amy Shea, is with us, taking over from Jan Yo. So thank you so much, Amy, for your work involved, as well as the Food Hub Advisory Committee. You know, just this week, Polar Park hosted the first homestand for the Worcester Red Sox. And baseball is really the ultimate team sport, and the only way you win games is by one base at a time. Whether it's a single or a home run, you've got to take every base one at a time, and you've got to play some decent defense. And boy, in the last few days, and they've won a couple games with a lot of home runs, and there's some home runs being hit here today by our United States Senator, our Congressman, and our Lieutenant Governor. How about a round of applause for them? You know, as Senator Markey alluded to, you know, Worcester and Worcester County, we have more farms in Worcester County than any other county in the state, I believe, Commissioner, correct? And so this was an opportunity for us to link those farms and provide them surety in terms of purchasing and develop in transportation of the products that they grow and bring them and distribute them to organizations, individuals, organizations like the REC across the region where they can, whether it be SNAP benefits or through the food boxes, people can buy those fresh foods and incorporate in the selling of those products from the farms many of the products that are made at the commercial kitchen. And what Senator Markey, Congressman McGovern, and Lieutenant Governor Polito are helping facilitate and accelerate here today is also not only the support of those farms and our local food systems, but it also is creating new businesses. The Food Hub, with the support of the Health Foundation, the Shields Foundation, and I want to acknowledge former Mayor Brockton, Jack Unitz, who's here from the Shields Foundation, with the support of Secretary Haridis, Commissioner LeBeau, Senator Mike Moore, State Representative Dan Donahue, Hannah Kane. We've been in mass development. The Food Hub has been able to secure over the last 4 or 5 years various strategic grants to allow us to scale and get to sustainability, and then build those relationships with area farms to work with our entrepreneurs. And to this date, and I'm probably short-selling it, but over 100 businesses have been created out of the Food Hub with one kitchen. And the majority of those businesses are businesses owned by people of color and women. We are going to have 6 kitchens down. That's worth applause. Yeah, absolutely. And this is simply going to accelerate that to allow the food scene in Worcester that has been such a part of the city's growth and revitalization to grow and empower, give economic empowerment to individuals, families, immigrants, new Americans who are coming here as well, people who are looking to have a career change, some point in their lives. This is going to facilitate that. And I also want to acknowledge Christine Cassidy, who is the chairwoman of the Chamber Board, and Christine, and one of the Food Hub graduates and local business owner, Nadine James, who's also one of our members of the board. And like I said, Senator Markey, when we brought this to him down in Washington, he said, I'm in. Let me see if we can help, if we can get this earmark through. Jim McGovern's work on issues of food security, agriculture, are legendary. And this is just the latest manifestation of his work. When the ARPA money dollars initially came, he went to the manager and the mayor and the city council and said, how can we get this project rolling, working with Peter Dunn, the Worcester Redevelopment Authority, that got the ball rolling. Today really helps us accelerate this in an aggressive time schedule to get this open. And Lieutenant Governor, we were joking about ribbon cuttings, and hopefully we can get a very aggressive construction schedule, and we'll be here and time that with the new trains that are coming as well. So we are really excited. A great team win, because that's ultimately what this was. Not only 9 players in the field, but the people in and out of the dugout, all stepping up at critical moments to help make this happen. And Senator Markey, Congressman McGovern, Lieutenant Governor Polito, your teams were critical throughout and getting us to this day, convening, having conversations. How do we get to yes? What other avenues can we pursue? And we owe you an enormous set of gratitude on behalf of the Chamber, and as well as the Health Foundation and all of the people that have been involved to date. So thank you so much. And I'll turn it over to Sean Rainford, who's been our manager during this whole process. Sean.
Thanks, everyone. I think the theme of the day is collaboration and opportunity. So thanks to all of you, Senator, Congressman, Mr. Mayor, Lieutenant Governor, Tim Murray from the Chamber of Commerce, who really sparked this idea of this kitchen in Worcester. Secretary, Commissioners, thanks to all of you. A huge shout out to the Health Foundation of Central Massachusetts, without which we would not be here today. The Shields Foundation. I want to point out, Ashley, from the Regional Environmental Council. The Regional Environmental Council was a founding partner in the Food Hub, and they continue to be an incredible partner today, getting a lot of this great food out into the community, so thank you. So collaboration, one thing, opportunity the other. So this is an opportunity for farmers to get their food to buyers they may not otherwise be able to, whether that's through distribution or access to larger scale institutions. The Food Hub has the insurance. We go through the audits. We form those relationships, freeing up time for farmers to do what it is that they do best. The other opportunity is with these folks back here. So shout out to all the different food entrepreneurs. I encourage you after to stick around, talk to the entrepreneurs about their products. We will have an opportunity to see the space that the Food Hub is moving into. In this new location, us going from 2 current locations, a small warehouse, 1 kitchen, going into what's going to be an amazing facility with 6 kitchens, large cold storage, large amounts of dry storage, covered loading docks, which is amazing in the winter, and having a retail store where 7 days a week we can showcase these products and have people buy them, have events on the weekends, farmers and food markets, to be able to really help to activate this beautiful building and get more people in here and create opportunity for all the residents of Worcester. So thank you all for coming tonight. Thank you all, and it's been great. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean, and good luck. Thank you all for being here again. Thank you, and congratulations to everyone involved. It's really extraordinary. As Sean said, if you'd like to stick around and get a tour of the facility, that would be great. So just hang out here and take a look at these wonderful products here. And thanks again for coming.